welcome to the next winning list video. This is, I don't know how many we are in the series now, but anyway, that's by the by. I'm your host, E.T. I'm here with Joe Senior, and I'll pass over to Joe to introduce our winning player this week.
All right, guys, we've joined today by Mark Pilkington. Went 4-1 at Sheffield Super Major, as well as winning Danum Dice as RTT on the 21st of July. 16 players, 3-0. So a nice run, 7-1 in total. We're going to be overviewing the RTT today mainly, and then just going to give a brief run through of how he did in the Super Major as well. What did you finish at Sheffield, Mark? Was it 15th, something like
15th, that? I believe, Joe, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So say hello, Mark.
Hiya. How's it going?
And we'll pass you on over to Mark for the list then.
Let's do it. Here we go. There's the list. Mark, mind taking us through it?
There we go. I can see it now. Yeah, so the list for the winning RTT, a bit different from my Sheffield list. I can go into that if you want, a little brief summary of what I changed.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That'd be great.
Due to UKTC terrain, it does change the list up a bit. But anyway, I'll go from top. So the characters on the slide there, obviously we've got the Triumph, basically taking any sisters list. People know why, buffs, support piece. Demonifuge, just for a little cheeky learn up. Nice to do them survivable actions, like you recover assets, you sabotage, things like that. Anything that can't really be interacted with, in my opinion, is really good. And it's really small base size as well, so getting in them nooks and crannies on UKTC terrain. And then just something I'm currently testing, St. Celestine. Usually she's solo, running around. Res is on a 2+, but last 4 games I've played, she failed to get back up. So
classic.
We won't talk about that, but she should get back up. 160 points is a bit much, but she's quite durable in Bringers of Flame with Armor of Contempt, all 2-up save. Yeah, just another good utility scoring piece. Doesn't do much damage. And then your meat and potatoes here, we've got your cut and paste of every sister's list. We've got 30 Dominions, all with melters, obviously split into 3 immolators, all with melter on the Dominions, melter on the immolators, scout move on that, and we've got reactive move as well. And then the little bolter squads with the icons that generate miracle dice. They just play the mission, hold my backfield, scout onto points, stuff like that. And then we've got 2 squads of 10 Seraphim. This is the Flamer Bomb, really good anti-infantry, even good against tanks with the Dev Wound strat, averaging 4 to 5 Dev Wounds usually. Even into big targets, really good. Shoot and scoot, good for objective flipping, stuff like that. And just a little utility 5-man Seraphim, nice little rapid ingress piece or something, again, to flip an objective. I would like to play another 5. See if I could do that. 3 squads of 10, but it might be a bit much. And then we've got 3 castigators. So in the RTT list, I ran 1 battle cannon and 2 auto cannons, but going forward, I've changed it to 3 auto cannons because I just think it's better. And yeah, I think that's it. So it's pretty cut and paste for the last bit, but the other pieces are the characters. So.
Do you have like a general tactic with this list? Do you kind of know what you're doing before you get to the table? Or you got like a general plan?
Matchup dependent. I mean, if it's so sisters' weaknesses, and I'll say this now, I shouldn't be giving my secrets away, but it doesn't like being tagged and it doesn't like pressure. It's kind of a bit like Thousand Suns in that way, that it hates being touched. I have no combat at all, especially when I'm not running Paragons. Triumph and Demonifuge and Celestine can pick up little trade pieces that get in your lines, but they're not great. They won't get you out of, say, like Death Company in your or 5 Deathwing Knights, stuff like that. So you've got to be really careful. But any normal matchup where I want to play my own like trade game and play my own game, the deployment's very similar, really. Obviously, if they're going to go aggressive into me, then I will play a bit different, screen better. But yeah, there's usually a normal battle plan for most matchups with this list.
Nice.
Okay. Nice to see St. Celestine in, actually. I've not seen her about for a bit.
She went up 25 points, and it's one of them that could be on cutting blocks, same with Demonifuge. They're just little like scoring pieces that go around. I do find St. Celestine's very hard to kill when she's in cover and Armor of Contempt, because it's basically ignoring AP2. She's really good with reviving as well. Like you can put a Gemini on a point. If they kill it, a revive on the point and go and get a cheeky 5 on primary or a cheeky primary score. There's just little tricks like that. You can join her to Seraphim, but I found just having another unit running round is just really good. More units, the better.
Yeah, I'm finding that more units is the better way at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in my other builds that I've been trying recently, you take all that out. So you take Celestine out, Demonifuge out, and 10 Seraphim out. And that gets you exactly the Paragons and Vol back in.
Ah, right. Okay. And is that what you ran for Sheffield then?
Similar, yeah. I mean, things do change. I didn't run all Dominions. I ran Novitiates, but it were basically the same. But the latest iteration of the list is that. But I've only had a couple of test games with that. But Paragons, I don't know. I just can't get on with them. I mean, I'm either too aggressive with them and you can't hide them and they die too easily, or they get screened out by people who know what they're doing. I just like having the utility pieces, and the another squad of 10 Seraphims is just great. Like just for killing infantry, for being you can't interact with it really unless you charge. So it's like just having another squad to go and flip an objective. I don't think Sisters needs firepower. With 3 Castigators, 30 Dominions, and 3 Immolators. I don't need more guns, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair
point. So with the Paragons, you're just missing units, in my opinion. But I need to test it more. For Leeds, I don't know what way I'm going with it, but I like this currently.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a play around and see where I'm at when it comes to list submission. So
interesting. Cool.
All right. Well, let's crack on. Let's get on to the first round then. So in the first round, you had Chaos Demons, Demonic Incursion, Detachment. Yes. And this was, sorry, my snipping tool skills are well below par here because I've given all the breakdown of the scores, but not the actual score. So can you give me the score, please, Joe?
Yeah, this was 100 to Mark and 34 to the Demons. So quite a convincing win, to be fair.
And this was on the new, what was it? Sweet. I can't even know what they call it now. The step one.
This is
Sweeping Engagement.
Sweeping Engagement.
Yeah.
With Terraform and Swift Action.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to just give us a little rundown of this?
Yeah. Well, going into the matchup, looking at the list, obviously there's a lot of big monsters. You're always going to mostly see that in Demons. There were no Bellicor, which is really good because I'm a shooting army, so I knew that any plink shots I could do before I get charged is just something I want to do. Luckily or not luckily, whatever you prefer, I did go first in this. With some tight angles and how fast the army is. Obviously with Castigators moving 19 inches and Immolators moving 21 inches, it's quite nuts. So I was able to just get some shots off first turn and just get wounds on table. I mean, I didn't expect to kill anything. I didn't on the first turn. I think I damaged the Bloodthirster, which obviously they're quite hard to hide on the layout because of the wings and stuff. So I just took some plink shots with some Castigators and just set up, and I sent some Immolators out as just like trade pieces, just to try and bait some of the big monsters out, and it did work. And then in his turn, he brought all the pink horrors out, which in my opinion is a massive mistake. I mean, it is putting pressure on, but the Flamer Seraphim they just picked them all up. He didn't even get to activate, so he came out with all the pink horrors, did terraform on every objective. So it was like, well, there's a lot of pressure for me to do now. But then in my turn 2, I picked up like 2 Bloodthirsters, 20 pink horrors, and like a couple of other like screamers that were running around. And honestly, by the time that happened, it were pretty much. By turn 3, I did that again in my turn, top of turn 3. And by that, he only had I think he had Fate Weaver left and Changeling.
So you didn't really miss the damage off the Paragons then, did you?
Nah, I didn't. No, you don't need it. I mean, the Paragons are absolutely great, but I think sometimes they're just a crutch. And on UKTC terrain with that silly big ruin in middle, you just can't move them around it. As soon as you step out into them new middle ruins that you can see on the graphic there, you just can't hide them. If I put all my Paragons behind that behind them new ruins that we've got with them base templates on. You can't, any angle there, you can just see them.
Yeah,
Demons ain't got guns, but I mean, in general, they can just be seen. Val's base is like 60 mil, I think. The Paragons are 40 or 50. You just can't hide them.
Yeah, it's a big footprint, isn't it?
It's massive, and for 370 points, they are very good, and they will. I've had them kill flanks on their own. I've had them kill 900 points on their own before, but it's with sisters. I just want to play that scoring game, and end of the day, it comes down to points, and I just love having more assets. But in this matchup, I think they'd have done good because he's got no guns. He's got Fate Weaver, which doesn't even kill probably a Paragon Warsuit on average with Miracle Dice, but I didn't need it. Like I said, by turn 3, he had no units left. I don't think he should have pushed me, and I just cleared up, and I think we called it bottom of his turn 3, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I think with the pink horrors as well, using them myself recently, you have got to be careful with them, because some stuff, you've just got to be careful where you place them when you're playing into stuff that's got units that can just take them out in one go, like them Seraphim.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to by chance, I did throw a grenade at 1 first, just to try and kill 2 or 3, just so I hit that favourable breakpoint. Because with 4 up invuls and a bit low rolling on my side, they could survive. And if one survives, he terraforms, he gets primary, he's maybe stops one of my secondaries. So I had to really go for it. And the other good thing is the Demonifuge. They've got a grenade ability as well, where if you fail a battle shock, you take 3 mortals. But against Chaos, it's at -2 leadership as well.
That's pretty good. And the horrors can't split off attacks like that as well, because they're not.
No, they can't. No. So just doing 3 mortals with the Demonifuge and then the other squad getting a grenade meant the Seraphim just. I mean, they did pick it up without it, but you don't know. I could roll really low, or he could spike his 4-ups. I think he popped the reroll 1s on one of the pink horror squads, I believe. But yeah, I just needed to guarantee the dice. I can't let them come back because, well, it's pretty much a wasted activation if you start spiking that. So
yeah, if they spike the splits, it's absolutely hilarious because you just end up with more models as I think you start.
Yeah, and when he did terraforming as well, it's like, well, he's just once they terraformed, you can't stop it. So I had to stop it. I had to guarantee that they died, and they did die. The Seraphim on average do pick them up, especially near Triumph for reroll 1s to wound. But yeah, so I did that. That was my goal: get rid of them and then clean up, and that was it.
Yeah, nice. Did you find with the auto cannons? You said you prefer them to the battle cannons. Then that's interesting because I see most people. Well, I've seen a lot of people playing with the battle cannons.
Yeah, I think I've only seen the last couple of weeks players have been diverting to the auto cannon. So I've found, and it came in this demon game where Scarbrand trapped me in combat, and I couldn't shoot my battle cannon into combat because it's black.
Yeah.
So and also the battle cannon, it does ignore cover innately, but if I tag you with an immolator, which I probably am going to be doing anyway, the auto cannon gets more reliable shots because the battle cannon's D6 + 3, so it's 7 shots. The auto cannon's 8 shots, but the auto cannon's twin linked as well. It is 1 less strength, but if you're within 12, I'm +1 strength anyway, and then obviously I shoot into combat as well. So I've just replaced them all now. They've all got auto cannons now. Yeah. It's just way better. It's so much better. The twin link is what makes it. It gives you so much more. Like wounding on 4s to wounding on 5s with twin link. Wounding on 5s with twin link statistically better. So
yeah.
So I do prefer that. Into big targets. So yeah, and shooting into combat. So it's good if I get tagged.
Because that's one of the problems you were saying in the list at the start, isn't it, being tagged up? So at least if you've got them there to shoot still, so.
Yeah, they can just stand there and shoot. They don't have to shoot out or anything like that. There's no restrictions at all. So yeah, 100% going forward, it's free auto cannons, definitely.
Yeah, cool. That's interesting. Cool.
Right. So before we go into the next round, I just want to plug our next events and our t-shirts on our website. So. First of all, if you're enjoying this video, please go ahead and drop us a like and a subscribe. Really helps the channel. We're getting a lot of engagement on these videos, and some of the comments have been really nice. And but we keep getting the comments of, Please can we have more graphics and things like that so we can show where the units are on the board and stuff? You absolutely can, if we can get more subs on this channel, because if the more subs we get, the more the time we can put into this. And so if you really like these and you just want to see these get better, then please subscribe, and that'll help us just make the quality of these videos much better. There's a link to our website in the description, and there you can find our events and our accessories, gaming accessories and t-shirts, specifically the 40k flash tees, which are designed by tattoo artists up and down the country who get paid per sale. So if you buy one, you're not only supporting us, you're supporting the tattoo artists as well. So 2 birds with 1 stone for small businesses there. And our up and coming events, we have a RTT in Sheffield on the 11th of August. It's a 1-day event, 32 players. You can grab your tickets in the website. And then another RTT on the 15th of September. Again, 32 players, and you can grab your tickets on our website there. We have also just announced the Teams tournament, which is to take place in June 2025. Already had a few sales for that. So it's looking like it's going to be popular. So if you fancy a big Teams event in Leeds, then visit our website. You can have a look for that. And then our big GT is Element Games, and that is in
October.
It's in October. I really should know that, given it's the biggest plug. So it's in October. Big 44-man GT. So you can grab your tickets for that. And it's going to be the big one. It's our big one of the year. So yeah, if you fancy it, visit the website for tickets. And without further ado, let's go crack on to round 2. So in round 2, Mark, you had Chaos Space Marines Soul Forged Warpack. I've only seen this once, other than this in a winning list video.
In teams a bit more when I've been to team events, this detachment.
Yeah. Well, it's on Search and Destroy, and it was Taken Hold and Hidden Supplies, so classic kind of map. What was the score here, Joe?
This was Mark's. Actually, was it your only point drop? Oh no, 99 dropped 8 points in total across the event, so 99 to 70.
Nice. Okay, a bit closer this one then. Do you want to take us through it?
Closer, but yeah, still quite convincing, really.
Yeah, with Soulforge Warpack, I've played it a couple of times prior to this. It's not the most popular CSM build. Like Joe says, it's definitely a teams list. It plays a bit like Chaos Knights, and it plays quite this stat checky kind of game. But with sisters, I mean, we all melt are running around in miracle dice. It's not that much of a problem. The only thing I've got to worry about in this list is it's got a load of skulls in it. So that's the main fire base there, that if it looks at a tank, it probably will kill it. But yeah, it was quite simple actually. I mean, we're both playing a kind of cagey game, but our flipping objectives, he couldn't really flip any of mine. I just staged up, and in the turn he brought out the load of skulls. It were worth some. It were like sat on a point, so it were worth some secondary points. And I pushed it. Brought all my army out, all my dominions, some of my castigators were in reserve. I brought everything out, obviously, to have multiple targets as well. And the load of skulls died to a dominion squad and 2 castigators.
Did it?
Yeah, I remember that bit because my opponent wasn't very happy. So a melter went through. I think his CP re-rolled it, failed it again, obviously on a 5-up, and then flat 8 damage, and then a hunter killer went through. That were another 6 damage. So that's 14. I think it'd already lost some damage because of dart packs. So the dart packs are quite dangerous in Soulforge, because obviously you take it's your leadership's 1 lower to try and get the +1 to wound, and also
you don't have icons, do you, either, on a lot of stuff?
No, I mean, he did have some. Did he have some Legionnaires? Yeah, he had some Legionnaires, but obviously his big power units where he gets his rules, they don't have any. They're all leadership 6, which go to 7. And then if you take, he's got the enhancement for reroll hits. If you take any dark pack damage from that, you take an additional mortal wound as well from that enhancement. So, like the Lord of Skulls are already damaged from dark pacting. So I need to do like another 6 damage with 2. Well, I had 3 castigators and another immolator lined up. I had loads and grenades and 10 seraphim with dev wounds. I had everything, because if he spiked it, I needed it to die. If it doesn't die, it touches my home ruin there on that new like ruin they've got. It touches that, sees my entire army in that little thing, and just blows me to hell. So I need to kill this. So I brought all my army out, and then once that Lord of Skulls was dead, he had no firepower. The Venom Crawlers don't pose any threat. The Forge Fiends are kind of all right, but you need 2 to kill one of my tanks, especially with Miracle Dice. And then all after that, it would just clear up again. It would just kill some units, kill his Venom Crawlers, kill his little skirmishing pieces, and then just sit in middle. And we just talked out the last. Once Lord of Skulls were dead, and it was like after about turn 3, we just talked it out after that.
Yeah, it's a big points hike for him to lose, and Sisters are so efficient at dealing with stuff like that with the Miracle Dice, just plugging your 6 damage in every time. It's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, he just couldn't get a foothold on game, to be honest with you. And then Seraphim were in his backfield, Celestine were in his backfield, and then it was just like loads of stuff were tagged. That basically.
Like you said, it's going to be hard for him to flip objectives as well, just having like tons of vehicles and not like loads of little skirmishing units with OC.
Yeah, the problem with the Soulforge Warpack is that it's strapped to move through things. It's only walls, it's not models, so you can block it so easily.
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
It's not like the Chaos Knight one, the Knights of Shade, where you can just walk through anything you want. You can't walk through models, so all you do is just like his top expansion objective there on the bracket, on the graphics. Sorry, there were a Mauler Fiend up there, and it was just pinned in every turn by Dominions or 5 Seraphims. So I just didn't want him to push my side. So there were just Dominions just like blocking the entire area of that point, and then obviously matching him on point, so he couldn't. Like, obviously, I contested the objective, so he can't draw Storm. So stuff like that, and I just kept doing that. And then once Lord of Skulls were done, I pushed up, and that was it. Like, the Mauler Fiend up there did die, and then, like I said, it was clear up, and he was basically in his deployment zone then, and he couldn't really interact, so...
Yeah, cool. How many points is the Lord of Skulls? Is he like 500 points?
450, 480, something like that.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a lot. I mean, its firepower is brutal, but it's got a really short range gun. It's 18 inches, so that never got to fire. The other big gun did, but it only shot into some Seraphim, and it didn't even kill them. So it didn't get to shoot into any tanks until I brought all mine out and then shot it. And then obviously once that's dead, there's no threat. Once that threat's gone, the Forge Fiends aren't a problem at all, really. And then, I'm just in middle then. So
cool.
Not really.
Nice. Good win. All right then. So on to the final round then.
Final round,
I believe you had Gordon.
I did have Gordon, yes.
Yeah.
Another Team Carnage member. You can see his Imperial Knights winning list actually on one of our videos. So you bet Gordon's Knights 92 to 79. So Gordon did actually do better than the other 2 lists.
Yes.
So what we got Scorched Earth for this one.
Yeah, so it was on again, the deployment escapes me, but it's diagonal ones. Scorched Earth, and the mission rule was Inspired Leadership, and he's obviously, I think Gordon recognised the use of Canis Rex as soon as kind of the new points and rules dropped for it, really. So he's put Canis Rex in, 4 Helverins, 5 Warglaves, and Eversaw, which I'm seeing loads in Imperium lists at the moment. A Vindicator, which I haven't seen in a while, and then 2 Inquisitorial Henchmen, 2 sets of 4 Inquisitorial Henchmen, which I assume were just for sitting objectives. But you can explain that, Mark, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, going into the matchup, I know Gordon's a good player, so I've got obviously going into any matchup, you've got to think you're playing the best of the best. You can't think like that because you can get screwed if you do that. But obviously, round 3, I'm playing against someone. I'm playing against a fellow teammate as well, so I know we're going to have a good game. I've played Gordon before as well. Really nice person to play against, so we know how we play. But going into it with Knights, I mean, I think he was just a bit too think he was just a bit too scared, which, to be honest with you, I think if I was running his knights, I would be his sisters. Early on, I think this is the game which I can recall, like, recently with the Merc 6. I must have rolled 16 sixes. I'm not even joking. It was nuts. The dice were like rigged. I mean, we had Scott coming over watching our game saying, are these dice rigged, checking my dice and all this. It was nuts. And I think by turn 2, I had like 5 or 6 sixes.
Oh my God.
And it was like, he just couldn't push me, because if he does, he just starts losing stuff. So I secured a foothold on my expansion at the top there on the graphic. Put Seraphim and other bits on there. The Demonifuge, so me being an idiot, I didn't pick a Warlord in my army list, so we had to roll it. And I rolled Demonifuge on a D3. So the Demonifuge just stayed in reserve, because I don't want him getting 5 upfield no paid and all.
That's so funny.
So the Demonifuge were just in that ruin on top left on my side. Yeah, just up there, just screening the entire game. It just never come out ever. So well, I'm not moving that. So that were on screening duty, which is fine. It's whatever. And then I identified quite quickly that what I like to do with sisters as well, I mean, just in general, is make people play the trading war with me. Now, if you can't do it, which knights can't, you will start losing assets quickly. So he were using warglaves and things like that for secure and cleanse, objective flipping, things like that. And progressively as the game goes on, you just start losing really expensive assets if you start doing that. Obviously, he did have the Inquisitor Henchmen, but they were both in reserve. He didn't put them on the board. And the Eversaw was on the field, and I think the Vindicator was in reserve as well. So the first couple of early turns, he did have to use knights to play that kind of trading game with me, with like Dominions and Seraphim, and obviously anything that stepped on that middle objective, I could just kill it. So I got a foothold early on asset trade, which were pretty good. And then in his bottom expansion objective, when Immolators can move 21 from that middle to his ruin at the bottom, if you could just draw a line, like, yeah, down there. So from my, it's like on, I can't show you, but it's like from that staging area down to this bottom corner. He can't really stop me doing that when the Dominions get out and take that. So I did that for 2 turns, and once he were getting 5s, and now we're getting 10s every turn, because he couldn't push me, because the Knights had to walk out in the open to even get to me, to my top expansion, because they don't move quick enough. They only move 12. And it'd be no man's land for a turn to try and get to me, and he'd just get shot. So once I identified he didn't have the movement and he were playing a bit cagey, and Canis Rex were just sat behind his ruin, just towering and shooting. I just did that twice, and we a bit of secondary gain a little bit. I were up like 15, 20 points. And once I knew that, I just played my own little game, my own passive game.
Yeah.
I didn't need to push. Once I got that points lead, it's on his foot to do what he needs to do. And he just run out of turns and units. And he did he go, I think he went second. Yeah, he went second.
Yeah, he must. Yeah, I think it looks like it.
So he did get the burn at the end for the 15, but then I burnt on turn 5 as well. So I got the 15 as well. So primary, I was 10, like I said, 10 up. I denied him 5-5. So yeah, I was 10 up on primary, and then secondary, I think he just ran out at the end. So I got a bit, I think I had like 10-point secondary leave, and obviously that's the score differential there. And that were it, basically. I mean, it was a very passive game. I killed probably 8 knights, little ones. I didn't touch Canis Rex, there were no point.
Did he not send him because obviously we saying he was staging him a bit. Did he not send him at any point?
No, because there were too many 6s on my pile. He did not. I mean,
but it's such a powerful roll when you start stacking them 6s, because hasn't everything got a 6-up in run as well?
Everything's got a 6-up in run. Yeah, I mean, I was using them. Like I said, I did have a lot. I was using him. Canis Rex, I think if he shoots into like an Immolator or Castigator, I don't think on average he kills it anyway, unless he spikes a little bit. But Obviously with the melter and stuff, it did kill a few immolators, but it were like they'd already done the job. They got the Dominions out. Obviously the Dominions died, but they flicked his objective at return. The 10-man Seraphim and the Dominions and the immolator just flipped his objective each turn. And yes, I am giving up I don't know, like 400 points, but he has to deal with it. And I've got that much stuff. It just didn't. Yeah. It didn't really matter. I mean, the Alverins as well. I weren't impressed with them. I told Gordon after they just AP1 when I've got 3 up save. Like an Alverin didn't even kill 5 Dominions.
Nah, yeah, AP1 with no way of ignoring cover or anything.
No, they're just crap. They don't do anything. So we found out pretty quickly. I could stand in front of them and they don't do anything. So, I mean, they're all sat up back just shooting. And then I got a kill back quite early just to get rid of an asset. Vindicare, I think we're doing secondaries, and Inquisitor Henchman. He did use one squad to scream my rapid ingress out, which I thought were a good play. But with how fast I am, I just kind of jumped over him and killed him like a turn later, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, the Elverins I were really disappointed in. The Warglaves I've got to respect a little bit, because if a Melter goes through, it might kill me. But if one goes through, I just 6 it on Miracle Dice. So it's not a great matchup for him, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think if he'd have pushed me and gone full send turn 1, it might have been a little bit of a different game, but he could have just lost everything. So I don't know.
Like you say, you're always going to win that passive game over the course of 5 turns. Aren't you, then?
I mean, he just didn't push my expansion at all. He did not push it at all. So because he couldn't, he just didn't have enough movement to get to it. And once it's in no man's land, he just gets shot. But maybe he should have pushed Canis and like two Armigers, Warglaves, that flank. And then I wouldn't be flipping his points. I'd have to deal with all that.
Yeah, I think he needed to be more aggressive for sure.
Probably, yeah.
It's more risky, but if he wanted to actually win it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have took a turn off. I wouldn't have mind losing primary for 5. Just get a 5 on primary for a turn, just to kill what's in front of me. But
yeah,
if I'd have killed Canis and the Helverins, the Warglaves, I don't know. I mean, the game might have ended early. I don't know, but I was always going to win that trade game. So he just couldn't get out of no man's land. I mean, he's got to take a turn of getting shot, and there's a lot of guns. So.
And a lot of 6s.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing I think that put him off. If I had really bad Miracle Dice, I set 6 off Triumph, he might have pushed me. And we did talk about it, but I had so many. I had loads of 5s and 4s. It was just nuts. Like, no dice were bad. So, so end of that. That was the score. We got us 15 at end. There were no table. I think he had like 3 knights. For all his Elverins left, I didn't even touch them. I didn't need to. And then just ignore them. But all the Warglaves were dead, and all his trade pieces were dead. I think Vindicare were alive, but and then I had like a couple of tanks dead and stuff like that. But yeah,
just before we wrap up, then just give us 30 seconds on how you changed the list for the Sheffield GT just gone, where you came 4-1.
So this event was after Sheffield. So the previous iteration of the list had Paragons in it. So I didn't have Celestine, I didn't have Demonifuge, and I didn't have 10 Seraphim, I believe. But I've made that many lists, I can't remember. But the Paragons, the reason I took them out, and I mentioned before, is that you just can't move them on this new terrain pack. I feel if you put them in rapid ingress, they come in a bit too late. Or if you do start them on board, certain armies, especially things like Thousand Suns, can just indirect them off board. And I hit 2 of them at Sheffield, so the Paragons have to go in reserve, because if I get indirected by Magnus or that stupid 2 damage flamer, they just die. The Paragons aren't durable at all, but I'm just trying it without Paragons. I think they're a crutch, and it suits my playstyle more. I don't think I need the damage. Yeah. I like having more units. The Seraphim provide the little bit of damage anyway, and Celestine and Demonifuge just give me that utility. Into certain things.
And it's harder to like hide from lots of little pieces that do a little bit of damage all over than it is from one brick of damage in it.
Yeah, I mean, the Paragon damage is probably at the moment the biggest damage dealing unit in the game by a long shot at the moment. There's not much to. But the only thing in shooting, combat, obviously, you've got your 10 Death Company, they'll rival it straight away. But there's not much that puts out damage like that. It's absolutely nuts. But against the matchups I should be beating, I feel I don't need it. And the matchups that are bad for me, I think the Paragons make it worse. So it's kind of like I said before, it's a crutch when I don't really need it. But they are flex spots at the moment. I am testing. I want to test Paragons without Vol, just to get another 160 points worth of stuff, because Vol's 160. But I don't know without Vol. I think Paragons they might just lose a bit too much power. But it's something I need to test before Leeds. At some point. But yeah, that's basically it. Once you've got your 3 Casses, your 3 Emmers, your 30 Dominions, that's your basic of your list.
Yeah, that's your base.
And on Triumph, obviously, she's a heretics. And then after that, you just put in scoring pieces and Seraphim and Paragons or whatever.
It's going to be interesting seeing which way you and Scott go with sisters, and see if you both sort of go down a similar path, or if Scott sticks with the Paragons or not.
Yeah, Scott loves the Paragons.
Yeah, I know he does. Yeah,
but Scott's played sisters a lot longer than me, so Scott is a better player with sisters than I am, but I am learning. It is a very hard army to play. I mean, it is strong. It does need nerfs. I agree, it does need nerfs. But the Paragons, maybe I'm playing them wrong. I don't know. I'm just.
If what works for you and your style as well, right?
Exactly. If it don't fit your play style, you'll never ever get on with it. And I like having more units. I like having fast things that can go through walls and can do tricks and move really, really far, and just more units to play the game. At the end of the day, I don't think I need the damage. I've got enough.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
I don't need more Melter. I don't need more guns. I mean, I'd love a combat threat, but the Paragons are pretty good in combat, but they're not. Sisters don't really have access to that, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations for the win.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on and talking through it with us. That was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really breakdown. So without further ado, again, like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we'll see everybody in the next one.
See you later, guys.
See ya.